See, some things are only real when they happen to you. Then perhaps we must learn not to look at our incidents through individualistic lenses, but stand back off the issue and understand what is going on in our era so that we experience it from a perspective that is not so narcissistic that it is designed for you to focus on personal pain rather than global trends. Because I'll be honest, I didn't pay it attention until it happened to me. You don't pay attention to people wearing pink for Breast Cancer Month until they find a lump in your breast. And when they find a lump in your breast, all of a sudden it becomes personal, it becomes real. And then you have to back research. And you back research, oh, that's what that was about. I just wore pink because it was nice and the church was wearing pink that day. But it didn't really affect me personally until it happened to me. One of the areas that I give to is Alzheimer's, because Alzheimer's became real when Mama got it. Not even when her sister had it. But when Mama got it, I still hate it. As if it broke in my house and stabbed my mother in the neck, I hate it today because I experienced it personally. But perhaps if we look at trends and understand the times we could think differently, and we could understand how to deal with change. And if we can understand how to deal with change, we will change our mind before the trend zooms in on us, and we won't have to experience loss to get revelation. So listen to this, because this is a profound thought. Very few people do anything that does not affect them personally. They don't make choices until it's too late. They don't make moves until it comes to their doorstep. They don't prepare in advance. Most news releases, by the time they announce it, it's happened. Why are we always showing up late at dance? The last one hired, the first one fired, because we react individually to everything, take everything personally rather than practically, and we don't notice trends so that we can be proactive. We live in a reactive society that responds to things too late. George Bernard Shaw said something that I thought was worth bringing to your attention, and then in a moment I'll address the text. But I want you to pay close attention to what he says, because I think it is quite profound. He says, progress is impossible without change. Yeah, this is worth writing down. That's right, get it down. Progress is impossible without change. You cannot stay doing the same thing and expect things to change. It is impossible to have progress without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Now, the profundity of that statement, put it up there again. The profundity of their statement is quite profound, because the reverse is also true. If those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything, those who can change their mind can change everything. So then the profundity of the thought is centered around the thought, I have spent too much energy, Dexter, trying to change other people's minds, trying to convince them of my motives and my thought, and that how they thought about me was wrong. I didn't realize that their decision didn't alter my destiny. That you don't have to like me for me to be blessed. You don't have to like me in order for me to be successful. You don't have to agree with me in order for me to succeed. Why have I expended more energy in changing their mind when I should have spent energy changing my mind? For as a man thinketh, yeah, you don't hear what I'm saying. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as society thinketh, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I did not realize that the power was in my own mind. I did not pay attention to the verses that in the scriptures where it said, it is with the mind that we serve the Lord. I didn't recognize that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringeth every thought into captivity unto the obedience of Christ. I didn't realize that my mind is the battleground, that I got a devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other, and that they're fighting to control my mind, and that my mind is the battleground because it is the fertile ground from which creativity is incubated. That I need thought time, that I need quiet time, that I need leave me alone time, that I need to shut off my phone and shut off my TV set and not answer my phone and sit down in a hot tub of water and lay back with a rag over my face and think myself clear, that I can think myself well, that I can think myself heal, that I have the power within myself to change things around me by changing things within me. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? Oh, I couldn't wait for y'all to come to church. Y'all late. I couldn't wait for y'all to get here because I was so excited. The more God began to talk to me about this, the more excited I became about what was in me, because the propensity we all have is to think that somebody is coming to save us. And we think we're going to meet somebody that's going to change our lives. And so we drop our little hanky down out of our window in the castle, waiting on Prince Charming to ride by on a horse and pick up our handkerchief, rather than going down the steps and pick up your own handkerchief and going about your business. And if Prince Charming come, he got to make an appointment because I'm doing some stuff. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? So you got your whole life on hold waiting for some other confused person to meet your confused self so you can have some confused kids and become a confused family, rather than clearing your head so you know what you want, so you know where you're going, so you know what you think, that you are aware of what is going on in the world and how you fit in the shifts and the changings of the current of society. Requires some quiet time. Shut up. Leave me alone. Don't call me. I'll call you later. I need to catch up on what's going on, and how do I need to be proactive so that I can change my thinking. Because if I change my thinking, I change my life. Not if I change my job, I change my life. Not if I change my city, I change my life. Not if I change my husband, I change my life. Not if I change my wife, I change my life. I got the power within myself. I got the thermostat that controls the heat in the whole room, and it's right in between my own two ears. No wonder the devil is after my mind, distracting me, worrying me to death, confusing me, tormenting me, or like Delilah did, afflicting my mind. Anything he can put on my mind to keep my mind from being clear, because my mind is the thermostat that changes the heat in the whole house. I refuse to give you my thermostat. That's too much power to give to any one person. I won't let you control how I proceed in my life, because it is impossible. Bernard had it right. It's impossible to have change or progress without thought. So yo, man, what you thinking, dude? Because what you thinking determines how you living. What you thinking determines how you feeling. What you thinking determines how you rolling. You are no better than your next thought. I'm gonna get off in a minute. You're one thought away from the greatest breakthrough you ever had in your life. You're one thought away from the greatest discovery you could ever have in your life. You're one thought away from your next, assuming you had your last $1 million. You're one thought away from a cure from cancer. You're one thought away from finding your divine purpose and living your life out with destiny, peace, and joy. Just one thought away. And when you can't change the weather, you got to change your clothes. You got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you function. You got to change your attitude. The reason I wore this suit this morning, I was going to wear another suit, but when I saw how cold it was outside, I switched up on it. I couldn't change the weather, but I could change my suit. You're trying to change the wrong thing. You're trying to change things that are not within your control. You can't stop the trend, but you can shift your ticket. See, science is supposed to be based on facts. Math is based on facts. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what class you are. 2 + 2 will always be 4. I don't land in South Africa and wonder if it's still 4. Facts. But we are so drunk with feelings that everybody's talking about how you feel about a thing. How you feel don't change the facts. 2 + 2 is still gonna be 4, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you look at it or not, whether you embrace it or not, it's still the reality. The truth of the matter is, the more opinion becomes pervasive, the more chaotic the world becomes. And the more chaotic the world becomes, now my theologian hat is on, we are setting ourselves up for the Antichrist. Because we are creating problems that we cannot solve, because we are creating mechanical beings that are smarter than their makers. See, God never created anything that he couldn't control. He made the winds and the waves, but they still had to obey him. He made man, but when he put him out the garden, he had to go. We are creating things with no mechanisms to control the things that we are creating, and foolishly thinking that one day they won't outsmart. So the kinds of problems that we're having will eventually exceed our imagination and creativity, which makes the Antichrist so profound, because now we're going to need somebody to save us from ourselves. We've already done enough damage to the world that the world has gone into labor. I used to read Romans 8 and couldn't understand it, that the whole creation travaileth in pain until now. Creation, not just people, but the earth is groaning in travail. The earth has gone into labor. The earth has gone into earthquakes. The earth has gone into tornadoes. The earth has gone into hurricanes. The earth has gone into unpredictable weather where we can't control the climate. The earth has gone into melting glaciers until the glaciers are melting so fast that I went on a tour to Alaska and saw glaciers, and when I went back 2 years later, the glaciers were gone. They were all gone, and it affected the whole trip. And we're creating a circumstance because we've outsmarted ourselves. Now the whole creation is travailing in pain, and it is set a perfect stage for utter chaos. And we're living in a world where you're so focused on what's going on in your head that you don't see what's going on in your world. You don't see what's going on in your life. You don't see what's going on in your community. You don't see what's going on in your world, because if it don't come in your house, you don't think it's going to affect you. But baby, it's only a matter of time until what you read in the paper comes to your house. I used to not understand the text, mothers will be against daughters and fathers will be against sons. And because I couldn't imagine it, it's inordinate, it's not natural, it didn't make any sense at the time, because I grew up in an era where family was still family and connection was still connection. I know it's old-fashioned, forgive me, but I do have gray hair. I'm like Paul, and I'm an old man talking to the next generation. I grew up around Sunday dinner tables where the family sat around the dinner table and actually had discussions and talked. I grew around up in a little house where we watched Mama make dinner in the kitchen and had conversation. I grew up in a house where we were the dishwasher. We didn't own a dishwasher. She birthed a dishwasher. And I grew up in an environment where the family nucleus was intact. But I lived long enough to listen to women to live in a society where most women have given up on men altogether. Ain't no good men left is what they're telling me. I don't know what they're telling you, but they're telling me ain't no good. And the men, conversely, are saying they don't make good women like they used to. Listen to that. These are the progenitors of the family. If the progenitors of the family don't like each other, then how can the children have self-esteem? No, let me drop it on you again. If daddy don't like mama and mama don't like daddy, and I'm birthed in an atmosphere of hatred and malice and frustration, how can I feel good about me when I am the product of your fight? Our marriages are collapsing. Our children are being raised by machines. We don't even talk to them. All they do is sit up and play games all the time. And then we wonder why they're running around with guns shooting at people. Of course they're shooting at people. They don't have nobody for a mama and a daddy but a robot. And that's all they got. Nothing else to talk to, nothing else to hold them, nobody else to touch them and love them and laugh with them and teach them relational skills and how to forgive and how to get over stuff. So they grow up as adults uncertain, thinking that people act like laptops. I ought to be able to push this button and get this picture. But real relationships aren't like that. But they wouldn't know about relationships because they never saw one act out in the home. They never saw anybody have a disagreement and still have dinner. They never saw nobody get on their nerves and still sit up and bake you a cake. They never saw what we saw in the house, so they can't figure out how to make marriage work. So while we're married 30, 40, 50 years, they're married 3 to 5. Stay with me. You can't shout over top of this, but this is what's happening all around. We are protecting the right to bear arms over our own children. We don't care how many kids die, as long as we protect our right to be able to shoot. More guns haven't made things better, they're making them worse. We got more guns than we got people. We got more guns than any other country in the globe. We have a higher murder rate than any other country in the world. According to the CDC, suicides are increasing while the dollar is falling. According to the Barna report, the church attendance is declining, but the murder rate is steady going up. And nobody seems to be able to figure out how to respond to it, as if none of this stuff is connected. We got more murders happening in America. 7.8 people being murdered per 100,000 in the country right now. We got more murder than we got cakes. We got more ways to kill than we got hands. We got more guns than we got people to shoot them. And it's everything's all right till the rabbit gets the gun. It's all right till it's your kid. It's all right till it's your house. It's all right till it's little me. It's all right. It's all right. Take any position. I'm not trying to mess with your position. Take any position you want to take. But when it comes to your house, it becomes real. When they're lowering your 11-year-old into the grave, it becomes really real. When it's your grandchild in the box, it becomes another level of serious. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. And because you don't shout off of stuff like that, that's why we're in the mess we're we're in, because we only want to talk about Ezekiel and Daniel and Jeremiah and talk about the victories of dead people. We don't have no victories in our life right now, and that's why church isn't working for us, because we only get excited post-mortem with victory. But I need some living leaders with some living power, with some living authority that rebukes the devil and stops my children from falling in the fire and falling in the flood. I don't just want to read about history. I want somebody who can have some power right now in this present world. And until you learn how to open your mouth, they're always going to walk over top of you. Whether you're old or white or brown or black or 5 years old, there's a reason the first thing kids learn how to do is talk. There is absolutely no reason for black people in the hood to be mad at white people in the rural areas. We both broke. Ain't neither one of us got no health care. Nobody's sitting in the office making any decisions to make things any better for either one of us. What are we mad at each other about? This is absolutely nonsense. If I have a car wreck, I don't care if the paramedic is white, black, green, purple, striped. I don't care how they identify themselves. I don't care if they floating in a tutu. If I'm in a car wreck, please get me off the side of the road. We can worry about all that other stuff once I'm safe. Right now, give me some oxygen, give me some blood transfusion, give me a pain tranquilizer. Somebody's got to understand priorities over process, so that every ex-wife and ex-husband would stop being angry over an experience that happened 10 years ago and not recognize that even if I'm not helpful to you, I might be helpful to your children and to your grandchildren, and I might be able to help you in the hospital when your daughter has a disease, because I know something about my family history that you might need to know. But if you are too petty to be able to disrupt your thinking, then you will incarcerate the opportunity for me to bring you out of bondage. And you have to have the flexibility to let people go that you held hostage in your mind, and to let the resentment and the anger and the hostility go, because he whom the Son has set free is free indeed. Can I go a little bit deeper? See, disruptive thinking is what the Bible calls repentance. Yes, I believe that in order to have revival, we must repent from sin. But in the Bible days, when it talks about repentance, the inference of the word was bigger than being sorry for sin. The inference for the Greek word was stronger than that. It went much deeper than that. It was more comprehensive than that. The word is metanoia, and what it really means, it doesn't matter how much you cry at the altar. It doesn't matter how much you weep. It doesn't matter how much you lay at the altar and feel bad about what you did. The word metanoia means to change your mind. I'm going to close because I think I'm supposed to. I'm not going to close because I'm finished, but I'm going to close so you can go eat. But without explaining your reasons, without justifying your decision, without feeling bad about disappointing anybody, without feeling bad about letting them go and what they had in mind for you, touch 3 people and say, I changed my mind. I simply changed my mind. Because if I can change my mind, I can change my destiny. If I can change my mind, I can change my circumstances. If I can change my mind, I can change my reality. If I can change my mind, I can change my family. If I can change my mind, I can change the world.
In what you've done with your life thus far, is it giving you what you want? Is it giving you what you want? When you look toward the future, when you look at all that's going on out here, is there some place within yourself you say, hey, I know I need to be out there in that arena I know I can do more than what I've been doing. I know there's some great music that I have within me that I haven't brought out here yet. Is that something that you begin to look at within yourself? See, I say if you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. If you're on a job, 85% they say of Americans go to jobs, but they're unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want, it's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment, you're miserable, you hate to go there, you're depressed just thinking about it, you're saying the "Thank God It's Friday" song every week. If that's what it is, you owe it to yourself to start strategically working to change directions. See, but you know what most people will do? Most people will resist change. Most people will fight change as if change would be worse than what they're experiencing. See, they know this. They're familiar with this. Most people will not challenge the unknown. They won't just step out there. See, there's certain things that's got to be in place. They got to see it all together. And life isn't like that. That's not how you grow. So as you look at your life, you're saying, I'm not getting what I want. As you begin to look toward the future, begin to know that whatever it takes for you to create that, you've got that in you. You've got that. You've got genius in you. You've got goodness in you. You've got creativeness in you. If you decide to take the initiative to change the current quality of your life, I say to you that you will find that the universe is on your side.